What is technical death metal? Also known as tech death, shocker, it is death metal that is technical. It has an alien quality to it due to this added complexity. Necrophagist is considered to be the original tech death band, and they are a great example of the pure essence of the sound. They were ahead of their time, releasing material as early as 1999, when tech death as a genre didn't really take off until a decade later. Tech death is often confused with prog death, which goes back a little further in time. Prog death bands like Cynic and Death were killing it in the mid-90s. The sounds of these two genres are admittedly quite similar, being much more nuanced and varied instrumentally compared to the simpler thrashy riffs of old school death metal. These two genres also have a distinct, similar sounding bass, which I've heard described once as sounding like deep bellowing cat meows. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Both styles have this, and other types of death metal do not. It only adds an extra layer of confusion that both styles are also frequently combined together. Bands such as Beyond Creation and The Faceless have elements of both prog death and tech death. So it's not always an either-or situation. These styles go together like bread and butter. Something more particularly unique to tech death is the vocals. First off, it is one of the few genres to use inhale screams, which are stereotypically associated with deathcore, although it's not as common in that genre as you would expect. Mostly just early deathcore bands like Job for a Cowboy, who, funny enough, later became a tech death band. These inhales are even done by some bands you wouldn't expect, like System of a Down. These vocals are quite common in tech death, and done best in this genre. Some tech death artists also do some insane stuff with the vocals, most notably Archspire, who have rapid-fire rapping-style death vocals, and Psychroptic, who push vocals to the point that it really does sound more like an alien creature is singing, rather than a human being. Tech death is often mixed with other styles. Some melodic death metal hybrid tech death artists are Allegion, Obscura, and Bloodshot Dawn. Some deathcore hybrid tech death bands are Rings of Saturn, Abiotic, and The Faceless in their early work. The band Nile is often called tech death as well, but I believe that they also have some influence from old school death metal and brutal death metal, which creates their unique form of music. There's also Between the Buried and Me, who sort of just blend everything. Tech death, prog death, deathcore, and even avant-garde metal. The theme of technical death metal is science and the limits of it. If technical thrash metal is about the mind of the individual,
Lock your time, fighting dream, nowhere to hide. Every night my demons you will see. An apparition festival.
then technical death metal is more about the collective understanding of the universe. In other words, tech thrash is about inner space, and tech death is about outer space. And yes, I know that I literally referred to some tech thrash bands as space thrash, but remember, those bands are also influenced by progressive death metal, so it is unsurprising that there would be some crossover between the themes, especially since both tech death and space thrash were prominent in the 2010s and share a similar zeitgeist. Tech death is a rather modernist genre. I must confess that despite how much I adore tech death, sometimes it really gets into fedora-wearing atheist midwit territory.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wile E. Coyote, genius.
Dear Bill Nye, you are extremely moist, and I suck you. I want kiss your feet.
I went through this I'm so smart for discovering Santa isn't real phase myself, so I get it, but if you want some tech death that isn't Neil deGrasse Tyson core, there are just as many tech death songs with themes of cosmic horror, less I'm a super genius because I effing love science, and more, holy crap, we fundamentally cannot comprehend this universe, and it could be a Lovecraftian nightmare for all we know. This is not only a more interesting topic to delve into lyrically, but it's also much more humble and lacks the annoying smugness. Fathom Infinite Depth by Archspire sums up this dread of the unknown rather well. And then there's Rings of Saturn, which just have fun with it, as their lyrics are about aliens coming to Earth just to exterminate humanity for laughs, like a sadistic child burning ants with a magnifying glass. Technical death metal is a genre about our relation to the vast cosmos around us and our place in it. Are we enlightened demigods who will conquer the universe with our science and supposed intellect? Or are we merely pawns under the influence of malevolent forces beyond our understanding? Our acculturation continues as we explore metal's overcomplicated genres.